We could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any public comments this morning? Good morning.
Good morning. April Brown, Special Events Manager. Just wanted to say that yesterday we hosted the SPI Beach Bass Skate Jam. It was the very first event at the new skate park. The event had a great turnout. It created a lot of buzz and excitement for the skate park. The event producers did a great job, and we also wanted to thank Debbie Huffman for her assistance on the event.
Wonderful. Thank you. Did you have something to say on public comments?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. Lori
Morning.
Moore, Interim CB Director. I have three. First, I wanted to give some kudos to our team. Our in-house marketing team posted a TikTok last Friday. I don't know if you all had a chance to see it. It's at the beach park, water park, and it's gone viral. As of today, we have over 370,000 views within the 6 days that it's been posted. We've gained just shy of 2,000 new followers on TikTok, which is a good deal. And it has over 40,000 likes on that video. So it did very well. So I wanted to say congratulations to the team, to the in-house team. They worked very hard. And they're actually working on a new one to post for Friday. We also wanted to let you know that South Padre Island is the 2022 Texas Travel Award winner for Destination of the Year. I shared the email with you all yesterday. South Padre Island was a big winner with several other categories. Longboard, bar, and grill for live music venue for a small market. The South Padre Island beach chairs rentals for Instagrammable spots. Surfing for outdoor activity. And the Padre Island Brewing Company for, of course, their brewing. And the People's Choice Best Destination for Families, for the first time this year, they put 4 categories in the Best Destination for Arts and Culture, Families, Foodies, Outdoor Adventures to a public vote with the competitive destinations chosen by Texas Travel Awards staff and judges. So they'll be uploading all of the our awards on their websites. So I think that's a really good deal for South Padre. And we also, for Texas TACVB, which is the Texas Association of Convention and Visitors Bureau, they're coming in August. We're hosting them. And we also submitted a lot of our videos. We did PR work to see if we can get some awards for that as well. And then lastly, I wanted to tell you that our new CVB director will start on Monday, Blake Henry, and he'll be on board next week. And we look forward to welcoming him to our island and working side by side to showcase our island. And I wanted to thank all of you all for your support during my almost 7 months of interim director. I've learned a lot. I do have a newfound respect for this position, and I look forward to supporting Blake and our team. Thank you.
And thank you to your team. Any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to item 4. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the absence.
We have more on that. It's all of it.
Well, motion to approve the minutes and to approve the post-event reports.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move to item 5.1, presentation and discussion by the Zimmerman Agency and Predictive Data Lab on campaign performance, KPIs, and analytics.
Good morning. So we have the 2 presentations, and we'll go with Zimmerman first to do their presentation and give us the monthly report. That is 5.1.
Good afternoon, everybody. Carol M's loading it up now. We're glad to give you the report this month. Excited about the results.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andy. If you could just hold one moment while IT switches over so that we can see you and your team in the presentation. We have some IT people that are out of the office today. Oh, we see you now. You can go ahead, Andy. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Good morning, team. It's Kirsten. I'm going to kick off the report for this month. Overall, we've seen really great results. So looking first on our programmatic side, we show that we've seen increases pretty much across the board in terms of impressions, clicks, and conversions. Through optimizations, we've lowered the CPM by 16%, which is great. So we're becoming more efficient over time, meaning our optimizations are working. And then we also saw a decrease in click-through rate this month. And we dove into the possible reasons why, we might be seeing impressions and clicks are increasing, but that click-through rate declining. We don't feel that it's ad fatigue. We have a really strong frequency for the campaign. And so we think that the click-through rate decline is really due to just the consumer confidence right now with kind of the market, with prices being so high, more users looking for staycations or more of that drive vacations. So we're not concerned yet. We'll keep watching the click-through rate, but we feel that's why we're seeing that decline this month. And then we have that performance trend over time with clicks and the media cost. And then if we go down a little bit, we'll look at our monthly performance breakdown. Again, that just shows when we started running media in December of 2021. And then our monthly breakout below. And as you can see, June is pacing really well, still driving a click-through rate of 0.19% in June, which we're excited about. It's above our benchmark. And then looking further, we'll have our creative performance. And similar to last month, we still see that our Take a Tour or Take a Dip creative achieved the highest click-through rate, 90% above our benchmark, with Ride a Wave or Ride a Horse creative delivering a 0.19% click-through rate. And then lastly, our By Land or By Sea creative had the lowest click-through rate of 0.14% this month, but that's been running the longest. So something that we're expecting to see. And then scrolling further down, just looking at our placement performance. And during May, Sojourn was our, so Expedia had the second, a click-through rate well above our benchmark, with StackAdapt still driving the highest, followed by Sojourn. With also Sojourn driving the top conversions, which again, our conversions we're tracking are those website form fills and the visit website buttons. And then looking to our SEM campaign performance. So we're seeing increases across the board for this as well. All great results that we've seen. Still driving a click-through rate well above our benchmark. And we've also continued to lower that average cost per click through our optimizations. And then we've got our kind of our campaign performance. So overall, that brand campaign continues to be our top performing in terms of average cost per click. So we're achieving the best efficiencies there, with Places to Eat and the events campaign following second and third. While our competitor campaign is driving the highest click-through rate. And if you scroll down, we'll have our ad preview and then our keyword breakdown. So one thing we've added to the keywords based on the last board meeting was more terms around beaches and the beach. So those have been added. And then.
Hey, Carol Ann, can you make it a slideshow just to make it a little larger on the screen?
So some of those top keywords are really pulling in from our brands and event campaign. So South Padre Island, events in South Padre, best beaches in Texas. And then diving into our Google Analytics performance, one thing that we changed from last month is we took the feedback and did the year-over-year comparison. So overall, you can see there was a slight decline in the total sessions compared to this time last year, but we've increased the average session duration. And then going down just looks at just the site performance again. And then just below that, we have traffic performance. So you can see in those default channel groupings where our top sessions are coming from. So you can see that year over year, we've seen an increase in the paid search. And the programmatic side is falling in the other category. And then just below that, just the, I'm sorry, I guess the chart before that was the month over month performance. This is looking at year over year. Again, with the programmatic coming in under the other category, and then you have paid search, and then you can see down there social has also seen an increase year over year in total sessions. And then just providing a device breakdown. So mobile is driving a majority of sessions, while the desktop has one of the lower bounce rates. And then next we have the metro chart for our top metros. And then just below that, additional charts for sessions by device. And then a heat map of our geo performance.
Kristen, thank you very much for what you're putting together here. We appreciate all of them. It's a lot of analytics. I get a little confused sometimes because I'm seeing that at the top of the screen that the current period and Pride periods are still month over month. Sometimes I think it would be more beneficial to us to be able to look at year over year on a lot of these things, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but there's also quite a bit here, and I mean, at times, yes, we need to look at last month, but at times we need to look at last year, so because we're just so seasonal in what we do here. So I would, I would love to have the opportunity to perhaps talk to you in more detail as we prepare some of these things in the future so that we can find more meaningful stuff in terms of year over year versus just over last month on some of this.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I appreciate all the detail as well, but I think we just spoke about this last month, and I'm not sure why we can't just get on board on doing the same thing as far as what we discussed and do it from last year's period. It seems like we keep mentioning the same issue each time period.
Well, I do have the numbers in front of me here. I can go over with you gentlemen the last 30 days, year over year, in terms of website traffic, or I can do May. You want to stick with May because we're talking about May?
Ask Tom. I'm just saying that it'd be nice to have in the reports as we discussed it instead of continuing to bring it up.
Yes.
Let's look at May last year versus May this year.
Okay. Well, May we're down, which the dates on those reports, the numbers match up for the most part, but overall website traffic for the month of May was down nearly 20%. And if you look at the geolocations on that, the markets that we're receiving less traffic from than we did last year is going to be DFW, Houston, and San Antonio, primarily. Yeah. Austin's about the same. RGV is about the same. Chicago is up. Tulsa is up.
Yeah, Kristen, I think your comment early on about the click-through rate being down, primarily probably because of consumer sentiment and current economic issues and those kinds of things. And I would hope that maybe in Predictive Data Labs can tell us, are we seeing fewer customers because of economic issues, gas prices, inflationary issues, or those kinds of things? And how do we gather that information in terms of, fewer click-through rates, and we think it may be that, but I don't know, maybe Predictive Data Labs has got some more information there on that.
Hey, Sean, you're a little bit more knowledgeable than I am, but aren't these kind of to be expected? I mean, we weren't expecting to be producing the same numbers from last year with.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm actually disappointed in these results. We enjoyed strong organic demand last year.
Right.
We're not spending a lot of money this time last year. So now we intended to spend money to make up for the loss in organic demand, and I'm not seeing evidence of that, unless it would have been less. This is the best that we could come up with, is a 20% decrease for the month of May in search traffic, website traffic overall. And I would have liked to have hit the same numbers,
Right.
but that is not
Well, just trying to be.
what this data anyway is showing us.
And so I guess to me, it just seems like there's a lot.
And we don't have the numbers for May yet, right?
So this is for the April time period, or you're saying
May.
May? I mean, there's a lot more competition compared to what was going on last April and May. There weren't a lot of people that were still advertising very much at all. So, I mean, we had to expect some kind of a decline. International travel is up.
Well, we spent more than we did, and we saw a decline. My goal was to get, ideally, the same website traffic that we received last year, but we're going to spend money getting that traffic instead of.
Okay, but there's still a broader picture here that we got to look at too. In that, even though we may see website traffic down, we may see occupancy rates down, those kinds of things, revenue's up. For large part because our ADRs are up. As we can all take a look at. But there's more to that, because then it has to do with marketing and where we market and who we market, who can afford to come and who can't. I mean, there's those kinds of things we have to pay attention to here when we start looking at this.
Well, there's another step that everybody continues to overlook is, and I sent, I've discussed this before, is are we comparing apples to apples? How many properties are now in the inventory too? So if you're up 30% in number of units that are available on the market for rent.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
I'm going back to what Tom, we really need to find a true number to show how much we're truly up. Let's say from now, compared to 2019, we're up 30% in number of units that are available in the rental market, and we're only up 10% in rev. It's not, we're actually down, if that makes any sense, compared to 2019. If there's only 5,000 units, what I'm trying to say is, if let's say there's 5,000 units on the island overall that can be rented in 2019, and now we're at 6,000, where our market has increased, are we really improving the way we think we are? Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure that it's a relevant conversation, because again, we're looking at traffic on the island, we're looking at all those different kinds of things. If an individual vacation rental owner, for example, is earning less revenue this year than he did last year, which is what you're kind of indicating, then okay, that's a different issue. But from our standpoint here, I'm looking at it from a city standpoint and how much revenue we're generating for the city, and we're up.
But we're up also mainly, 2019 was Courtyard Marriott up and running. So that adds to the revenue and the taxes that are coming in. So again, I'm just saying that, yes, we may be up 30%, but then we also have 30% more units in the market. So yeah, we should be up. If we're not, we're way, way down.
What's causeway crossings? What's those kinds of things we're doing?
The pro's not fully functioning. I'm not fully operational.
But that's what I'm saying.
You seem bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning.
No, the whole entire hotel.
All right, Zimmerman, apologies for the interruption. We don't get a chance to really talk through some of this stuff very often. If you could go ahead and continue.
No
Yeah.
problem. Oh, sorry, John.
No, I was just going to say, as a as a kind of an overall observation as an agency with other destinations, what we're seeing here is not unusual, and we do, as Christian pointed out, see, you know, current economic factors playing into it. I think that's an explanation of why organic traffic is down as well. Yes, we agree that, you know, we'll look at making more shifts into some increased efforts within the search to make the paid search to make up for what we're seeing declines in overall organic. But, you know, across the board, we're starting to see this trend where just overall traffic for some of our other destinations is lower, and it all seems to point to the same, you know, economic factors. But you know, that's definitely going to be a focus for this next report.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good morning. Sorry, I just wanted to add to what John said. I work with Google Analytics, and I was just taking a look a little bit more in depth onto the data. And it's interesting to see that, yes, organic has decreased a little this year compared to the previous year, but it's interesting to see that paid search grew 144% in the amount of users that they got. So it's important to see a little bit more.
Yes, Danielle, I have to interrupt you on that point. We weren't spending money on paid search in May of last year. We were spending very little money on paid search, if anything.
Correct.
And there's some data there. So that's what I'm getting at. We're spending a lot more money in May of this year than we did last year, and the overall numbers are down. And if it would have been worse if we had not advertised, I can appreciate that. If other destinations similar to ours are seeing a 20% organic decrease in search queries, so be it. And if there's any studies out there that if any other destinations that are releasing those numbers, I would like to know, because I have to explain that to our business partners and our city leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that trend overall.
And then lastly, before I pass it off to Carol Ann, I did want to clarify some of the dates on the report. So the paid sections, we are looking at month over month just because we don't have previous year's data. But then part of the sections in the Google Analytics, we are looking at year over year, but then there are a couple sections that we did also include the month over month. So if there's anything else that you'd like to see year over year, or just us take out the month over month completely in the Google Analytics section, just let us know and we'll be happy to do that. It's just there at the top right is kind of the default of the overall report view that we're looking at, but some of those pages have custom date range filters so that we can look at year over year along with that month over month. So just wanted to clarify that. And I think we're ready to go into paid social. So Carol Ann, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you. Okay, so just as an overview, overall, we know TikTok and Snapchat continue to be the strongest platforms to reach audience members and gain the most link clicks. So starting in June, we are increasing the budget specifically for those platforms. So with this next report, we'll see a lot more of our increase in that, in specifically Snapchat and TikTok. All right, and then this month overall, we ran a Memorial Day fireworks show ad across all of our platforms. And then just as another quick note, as developing our next campaign, we're gonna look into setting up goals in Google Analytics to begin tracking more detailed conversions, such as website behavior after a link click. Currently, our KPIs, you'll see, are obviously link clicks, CPC impressions, and reach, but we are working with our Google Analytics team to set that up. Okay, so for Facebook, summer campaigns are going to include Mexico as a targeted region also in June, but for this month we did run in the US. As hard as it gets, video ended with a strong performance at 40 cents per click, and we have them detailed out here. Our Memorial Day campaign on Facebook was a success, targeting a more mature audience, and that ended at 74 cents CPC. Our top converting audience is females at 59% versus males at 41%. With Instagram, which is all with this Facebook report, we also tested out a new general activities video this month. Our previous month was showing that its CPC was at 174, so we did refresh it and ended at 159 for cost per click. We have here the Facebook Organics page performance, which the internal team at SPI is running, but this is just as an overview of what we're seeing per month. And then we are seeing a strong page likes by city. Mexico City does take the lead, while the next few ones are San Antonio, Brownsville, Monterey. And we have a healthy age range gap continued from 25 to 34 being the strongest concentration. Here we have just the top performing organic posts that have been done in May. And then also our Instagram social organic performance. Looks like we went up 1,500 new followers and close to 750,000 impressions. And also here we have that detailed creative as well with top posts. The USS Kitty Hawk on Facebook and here on Instagram was the top post. Okay, so for TikTok, so this platform has been the most efficient in terms of average cost per click across the board. This month, our Memorial Day campaign performance led over the general awareness ads, actually. So both Memorial Days, when we target families and millennials, collectively served over 1,666 impressions, close to 3,000 link clicks, and we averaged at 46 cents CPC. Our May family and millennial focused ads averaged at 47 cents CPC and close to 3,000 impressions collectively. So while both videos have performed well and kept that CPC under our industry benchmark, in order to avoid ad fatigue, starting in June, we're looking to refresh the video content. Here you'll see just the breakdown of each TikTok ad. And so then for Snapchat, here we also ran a Memorial Day Snapchat ad advertising the fireworks show in SPI. That one had over 306,000 impressions, 13 cents CPC, and 3,866 swipe ups. Our millennial focused general awareness ad came at 44 cents CPC and over 75,000 impressions. With our general activities video continuing to perform strong, we plan to continue to run that video again for June. And this is the breakdown of each week for the videos.
All right, so moving into our recap, I won't go over the first part just because that's what we called out walking through the report, but it's there for reference. But looking forward and some recommendations. So we're going to continue optimizing the campaign so that we can continue to gain those efficiencies, lower that overall CPM on the programmatic side. And we'll also continue to watch that click-through rate and see if the trends that we see and any additional changes we might have with that. We also saw that Sojourn and Expedia continue to drive that strong click-through rate. So we're recommending that we continue our monthly efforts at the same budget levels. Video continues to be a strong performer in terms of engagement and video completion rate. So we recommend incorporating some of the video efforts maybe during the fall campaign. And then some other optimizations that we'll continue to make include increasing our bids on those top performing tactics and audiences, looking at our top performing creative and ad sizes, pausing any sizes that are below our benchmark. For example, we've paused the 468 by 60 and 970 by 90 sizes, and we'll optimize towards our top performing ad sizes. Those included the 300 by 600 and 728 by 90. And then we'll continue to rotate our different creative messaging so that we can limit, ad fatigue throughout the campaign.
I just had to say, if I may, we're in the middle of peak season right now, and there's I see some numbers down, and I think right now is the time to be concerned and need to focus on what do we have to do to get these numbers, like address them now, not be discussing about fall and what we can do. I'm talking about all year long. We talked about summertime. We talked about the Sunday through Thursday business. We talked about, so here are numbers. We're seeing that we're down. What can we do? What do we need to do to sit there and spin those wheels, because we are getting a higher ADR rate. We talked about that. So what is it that we need to do and for now? And I want to be behind the 8 ball and not, well, next year we can do that for June, but no, what do we have to do now for next week? Let's not wait till we meet again next month. It's what can we do now, because apparently something is off. We've all discussed it. We all see different angles of it. But what can we do? What do we need to do?
Yep. So the video recommendation for the fall is just video is that awareness engagement driver. Some things that we're looking at on the optimizations for our programmatic. So looking at Sojourn and StackAdapt is how we can optimize our campaign so that we can reach that target audience for the midweek vacations, and trying to increase those numbers during the midweek, knowing that was a concern, I believe, the last board meeting. So we're optimizing our campaigns to hone in, time of day, time of week to really reach those users when they're looking at booking a vacation.
Okay, I want to reiterate a little bit what Daniel's saying here, because what I'm seeing, is that the booking window is really short. Is that people are waiting a long time because of whatever reason, economic, whatever reason, they're waiting a long time to decide to come. So yeah, it does make sense that we kind of begin to, I hate to throw this on you guys, but really there becomes because of different changing economic issues, it almost has to change the message. We almost have to kind of rethink how it is that we're trying to talk to people right now. We're still a great value out here for people in terms of vacation. We're still from an organic standpoint, a great destination for those people who perhaps were going to go somewhere else, abroad or farther out of Texas, and now are thinking, okay, I don't have quite the number, I don't have quite the funds that I can play with. So yeah, what can I do now? Mm-hmm. So our booking window is really short in everything that we're doing. So yeah, we've got to look more
last minute messaging. I don't know. I'm just saying that, we still have, we talked about the Sunday through Thursday business, and we all are at 75-80%, if that, and our numbers are a little lower, of course, than we expected. But okay, so therefore, if that's the case, let's not finish summer saying, well, we had one of those years again. okay, we're in the thick of things. What can we do? How do we even get this message across?
Yeah, it's adjusting budgets. It's making adjustments now, daily, looking at it daily. And I think the messaging is correct. And I think because the booking window is so short, so small, we need to change our message and target the ones that are traveling, the ones that are driving. You know, right now, sometimes you can get good flights here, you know, deals. So I agree.
We're gonna sit there and hit winter time, and we're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, let's spend that extra
All right.
150,000," and
I think, again, we keep comparing stuff to last year where it was a different thing, and we
Yeah.
have to stop thinking about last year.
It should be compared to 2019.
We're going back to pre-COVID with the booking windows and things. I mentioned it, I think, even last month or the month before. You know, last year, people were booking 30 days out.
Right.
We were booked every weekend, and then it pushed the overflow to the weekdays. It's not the same. People are, I mean, I look at Airbnb, VRBO, there's inventory on the weekend. People start negotiating, oh man, I saw a Saida unit for X amount, you know, will you match the price? And I'll go on there and they've reduced the price because it was available. And so, you know, it's, you know, we've got the pre-COVID, it was about 7 to 14 days is what the booking window was at. And that's where we're getting back to. And I'm seeing all the numbers go down, and we keep asking for different stuff. We've got to start making the change and stop being reactive and be proactive on these things.
Noted.
We still have another 2 months of summer.
Right. Teresa, as our marketing manager, can you please let us know what you would like to do next moving forward?
Yes, good morning, Teresa Rodriguez. Yes, one of the things that we're doing right now and the way we're being proactive is with the in-house campaigns that we're doing, we're promoting the weekdays. We're doing live interviews. We are sending ads in the Rio Grande Valley all the way to Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin, and of course in northern Mexico. And like yesterday, we have Televisa here, and we were telling them, hey, listen, it's the middle of the week. We had this event, and take advantage of the weekdays. And if you can find great deals, we tell them about the fireworks during the weekdays. So we are doing a lot of those things. We're sending articles and trying to promote the weekdays too. Mm-hmm.
great.
Thank you. Okay. Zimmerman, I don't know if you had more to continue with, or if it was going over to PDL.
Yeah, I can run through just some of our recommendations on the paid search side, and then
Great.
pass it off to Carol Ann.
Thank you.
No problem. So for paid search, we're going to continue optimizing the campaigns on a weekly basis, looking to pause those low-performing keywords, evaluating our keyword bids on the average cost per click, conversion, and click-through rate. And we see that mobile is the top performing device, so we're optimizing towards mobile, and then we're also optimizing towards our top audiences and the time of day that they are converting. So we'll continue to do that. And then we'll continue to look at keywords, incorporating those beach terms, along with looking at our ad copy to ensure, last minute bookings or during the midweek to book a vacation.
So I'd like to just add on to that, just based on the conversations that were being had. I think a couple of key elements that we can make shifts now are increasing our paid search bids within DFW, San Antonio, and Houston, where we saw a slight decline as markets have, just the volume that we can see, making an impact in there. Also from a LTO, turnaround, quick booking turnarounds, was also be ramping up a little bit of our investment within the Expedia network, which includes VRBO, because that's a lower funnel quicker turnaround type of tactic, I think increasing the dollars with Expedia and search could help kind of turn the dial there.
John, I think that with Teresa and Lori's approval, go for it. If you think it's going to move the needle for us this summer, let's make it happen.
You got it. All right, Caroline.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so overall, as I stated earlier, part of our recommendations are to increase that budget for TikTok and Snapchat throughout summer and fall. And so we are concentrating on that. Aside from that, we have added in ads that will target Mexico regions alongside border towns because we are seeing really great performance with them. And then overall, we're working with the internal SPI team, not only just to get these link clicks, but also to spruce up the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat socials, and making them really engaging with all these videos that the team is creating to highlight the different things or multiple things to do in South Padre Island. And that wraps it up.
Thank you. All right. Is it Lori's PDL queued up? I mean, I think I saw one other representatives on the.
Atik, are you on?
Yeah. Yes, I'm on.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Just going to go ahead and present my screen. So can everybody see my screen right now?
Yes.
Great, wonderful. Okay, so my name is Atik Alam. I'm from Predictive Data Labs, and I'm going to be presenting a little more about the KPIs regarding hotels and vacation rentals, visitors, and then also kind of providing some more insight with what the Zimmerman team has done with paid media performance. So to begin, like I said, we're going to start off with the KPIs regarding hotels and vacation rentals. We're going to move on to paid media performance, followed by web analytics. And then we're going to go into the in-house media buys that the internal team has done. And then we're going to end it off with traveler intelligence and the economic impact, which is really just looking at hotel tax compared to sales tax and property tax for both on a month-to-month and year-to-year basis. So starting off with the star and key data. So the way that, before we begin, the way that we developed these numbers was we took the average of star and key data so that we, excuse me, so that we can get an idea of the average of both hotels and vacation rentals. So for the month of May, South Padre Island had the highest occupancy, which is what we've seen in previous months as well. It had the fourth spot in terms of ADR, which is what we've seen in previous months. Something different that we haven't seen in previous months is that it was overtaken by Port Aransas when looking at RevPAR. And we thought this was interesting to note because typically what's been happening, at least for 2022, is South Padre Island offsets the lower ADR with higher occupancy. It looks like for the first time of 2022, that's shifted. I don't know if that has to do with the going into the summer months, potentially inflation. But I did want to show that, even with the month of May being slightly lower in comparison to Port Aransas, the overall 2022 picture is still looking really good for South Padre Island. The occupancy is way up. Again, typically the ADR isn't that high with South Padre when comparing to competitors, but the high occupancy offsets it. And that's what we've seen in previous months. But that being said, I do think it's important to maybe consider maybe some potential steps to increase ADR if possible. And I wanted to ask, is there any questions regarding these two slides before we go forward?
Yeah, I find this fascinating. We talked about this a little bit before, and Atik, the property mix of what we're looking at here, our ADRs perhaps on South Padre Island are lower because of the types of property we offer, particularly when you're looking at vacation rentals versus that of just hotels. We don't have a lot of the 5 and 6 and 7 bedroom type of properties out here on South Padre Island that other areas do, such as maybe even Port Aransas and other areas have the larger properties whose ADRs would be much higher. So an interesting future study, which would be great for the EDC to help to get into as well, would be what are the property mixes out here that the public wants that we don't have or do have.
All right.
And so that's just a.
And Antique, I wanted to follow up on what I had the same question. I'm not aware that Port Aransas has a lot of beachfront resorts as we do here. Is your team aware of the diversity and inventory of Port Aransas?
So with the data set that we currently are working with, we actually do not have information regarding Port Aransas' inventory. Like Tom said, I do think that's worth a study maybe on its own or maybe in addition to what we're currently doing, but it would require us to be provided more data. We would need more of a competitor set of the data that we're currently getting.
Like if you don't know the data, it's almost like comparing a 50-room hotel to a 200-room hotel.
Yeah, because we're combining STAR and key data, hotels and VRMs in this mix. And I thought when visiting Port Aransas, it appears to me anyway that it's like 80% vacation rentals.
Well, and some of the higher, I mean, there's some nice houses and they're expensive and things of that nature that are, I mean, it's not comparing, but one of the things that'd be interesting to know is what was our, at the same time period, what was our ADR last year? Are we up or down on that?
So that's actually the next slide.
Okay.
And yeah,
Great.
so you're up on that. Just to kind of answer your question on that, while we're here, I might as well just say, so everything was up, and that's what was the good part about looking at the historical analysis. Everything was up except for occupancy, which was slightly down. But in this situation, which was opposite, is the ADR actually worked in your favor because it increased the RevPAR. So ultimately, you guys were generating more revenue.
Well, over here it shows on the year before it shows 215. And then on the next slide, it shows that we were at 224. Is that what
So
I'm saying?
let me clarify. So 224, this is for the month of May. 215 is all of 2022 year to date. And then 224 is again month of May. So this, if we look at it, this is the monthly comparison. This is a year to date comparison. And then this is going back to the monthly.
Thank you, Antique.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. But yeah, and like I was saying, with the historical analysis, South Padre really outperformed on every metric, except for occupancy. But I mean, RevPAR offset that, and that ultimately led to more revenue. So any other questions before going forward?
No, thank you.
No problem. So when we look at the booking data and when we look at booking sources, and this is just a pattern that we've kind of seen, month over month for 2022, is direct booking was the largest source of revenue. Even though, the availability by booking source was about even, direct booking seemed to dominate in terms of total revenue, and then also people actually, checking in, which kind of correlates together. And then ultimately also the average daily rate for the direct bookings were higher than any other booking source. Any questions on this slide?
Is that ADR by booking source higher because ADR by booking source higher direct?
Correct.
I would thought it would be the opposite.
So according to our data, I think we're shifting to just vacation rentals again, instead of the average. But we are seeing that direct booking had the higher.
It's our fees then. Okay. I think I know what's going on there.
Okay. And then, so before we go ahead and move off into KPIs, any further questions before we go to the paid media side of things?
No.
Alrighty. So with the paid media performance, we saw a lot of the same things that Zimmerman's team saw. We had really good news with impressions being a 2022 high, the most that we've had for all 2022 in May. The clicks were the second highest, so again, very successful on that front. The click-through rate was lower, although I would say that with the impressions being the highest it's been all year, that isn't completely that's something that we've seen before. It's something that does happen just because when you're getting more impressions, I mean, that click-through rate, it just tends to go down a little bit. So I do think the higher impressions are a more important factor here. And ultimately, I think what's really good is the efficiency was increased. As you can see, the prices were lower for May than March and April. February was still a little bit better, but I think the efficiency is going to be really important to look at, especially, you know, as inflation kind of starts to hit. It's going to be important to be efficient with that with those marketing efforts. So I think that's a really good sign. And then I would also like to highlight, you see TikTok as a high source of clicks, and I would like to really give credit to Lori and Teresa on this end, in the sense that seeing the data from last month, they actually made the decision to allocate more funding to TikTok, and I think that's paid dividends with the higher impressions and with the more efficient cost per click and cost per 1,000 impressions. And then we saw kind of the same pattern with Sojourn and Stackadat that the Zimmerman team.
If you need more money in TikTok, you guys talk about it, and
We already did it.
all right, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I thought that was really, really good to see, because it was like a direct decision that they saw. You know, they saw the data and they made a.
We switched. As soon as we saw this, we switched.
Great.
Yeah, the day of.
Day of, yeah.
But any questions on this before we go forward?
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
So then we want to look at the the campaign KPI, and really the Evergreen campaign. It was the most clicks, but the summer campaign was probably basically a top performer, in the sense that it did have a high cost per click, but that's kind of expected, because summer just in general is going to be competitive, because all vacation spots are trying to get that summer that summer customer segment. But what was great to see is that the summer had the best cost per click, so it was the most efficient. So that was it had the most cost per click. So it went. It wasn't as efficient as other campaigns, but it was more efficient on the month-to-month basis. Let me clarify that. And then impressions-wise, it was the most efficient in terms of campaign, because as we see, you got the most impressions, but you're spending more to get those, or you're spending less, to get those impressions. So overall, I would say the summer month was really the top performer. Evergreen was a consistent performer. And I do want to showcase that even though millennial and family focus are smaller sections on this pie chart, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were underperforming. And to kind of showcase that, we did look at the more detailed aspects of all the campaigns. So as you can see with Evergreen, family focus, and summer, it's either increasing or kind of staying the same. We did see a slight drop in the millennial focus campaign. And talking with the Zimmerman team and Lori and Teresa, we think that there may be a couple of reasons for it, and there's a couple of fixes for it as well. So one of the things is that we saw that even though overall the campaign dropped a little bit, the TikTok performance was strong. And again, I think credit to us to kind of reallocate that funding as we saw the data come in. But Snapchat and Instagram weren't as strong. So there's really two things that going forward I think we're going to focus on. One, it will be to get new creatives on Instagram and Snapchat. And then two, potentially, if we keep seeing those two platforms underperform, potentially, again, reallocating even more funding to TikTok. I think that might also be a way to kind of improve the performance of this particular campaign. But any questions on this?
Thank you. Sounds great.
All right, no worries. Then I did want to go into the geo performance of the marketing campaigns. So really this hasn't changed much from previous months. Really where you see the campaign focus is where we're getting, or where South Padre Island is getting the most visitors. So it's really, reaching out to areas where you really will get the most efficiency, again, making the most of the advertising dollars. As far as the areas that are being targeted, that is based on optimizations. So again, the way that this works is that more impressions will be served to areas that are more likely to get impressions, again, which leads to that lower cost per click and that increased price efficiency. And I think one thing that we will be doing in following months, in a later slide, we're going to see that we are getting and I think Zimmerman's team also kind of highlighted, we are getting more interest and more visitors even from the Midwest area. So potentially we may see in following months where we focus less on Oklahoma City and the Oklahoma area and target more the Midwest area, because we are seeing a higher customer segment from there compared to Oklahoma.
Teek,
any
I
questions
noticed
on this
that, and I wanted to make sure that wasn't an anomaly. I've never seen growth like that in Chicago in particular for the month of May. And I don't know why that would be.
Yes, and so for Chicago,
Organic
it was
organic traffic.
maybe more go ahead.
It was organic search traffic coming from Chicago, and I was curious if we can identify why that would be, or maybe you know. Oh, stand by, Teek. We have someone approaching the podium.
I think that this part of information, Nicolas Zimmerman from Valley International. During May, we saw a lot of extra capacity on airlines flying into Valley, and there's a lot of more connectivity coming from the upper Midwest, from Chicago, from Minneapolis, from Iowa, from Michigan. And so we are like 30, 40% up on seats. And usually those passengers are connecting in Texas, in Dallas, in Houston, in Austin, but they're coming from the upper Midwest and the mid-Midwest. And so I think that these numbers are very consistent with that appreciation. And, it is great that this data is also capturing that.
Why are they coming?
Because it's price competitive. Florida is too expensive. I was meeting with some markets, with some airlines last week. The fares and the availability in Florida is very high. The possibility to fly even into the Gulf side has been limited because of fare traffic restrictions. And so that has made the southern Texas area a little more competitive. And so people are looking into that. And so having the availability of properties here at lower relative prices versus the rest of the nation makes it that much more appealing for people to fly in, stay longer, and come here.
Yeah, we need to know this so that way we can sit there and be spending some dollars in these markets. If
Airlift, this is an airlift.
Is it because of air? I know you answered some of the questions, but are you saying air
because your
prices?
fuel cost, I'm telling you, your fuel cost is high, and as much as the airlift, to me, it would be more a smarter move for people to fly right now.
Sure.
We could put together maybe like a presentation for next month.
Or sooner.
Or sooner. We can do that. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, just to see what's happening, because we could quickly.
When you can, yes, because I think it helps you for us to spend money in those markets. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, get us that, and so we can get some action on that if needed.
Absolutely.
Hence remember we went and asked, and I think we received the money for airlift because we saw this, and we had met with Nico and made that adjustment, and we got the funding for the airlift advertising.
Gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would much rather have a visitor from the Midwest. They stay so much longer. They seem to spend so much more than someone from Laredo, which we keep beating our head against the wall trying to generate traffic from.
Correct.
I never meet anyone. I'm out on the streets on this island every day.
Night.
Yeah.
No.
Anybody from Laredo. Okay? Anyway.
Teresa? To complement what Lori was saying, that's why we've been allocating and talking to the airlines more money at the north. We've been reaching out to Canada. Canada has been a stronger market. We have talked to some of the airlines, and we also sending advertising there.
Thank you. Well, let's keep it going then. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we'll get that information. I think we can make.
Thank you, Atik. You already are doing such an excellent job that we're able to take action based off the data that you're putting together for us and everyone you're working with. Atik? Maybe we need to switch over to the Google Meet, if you can. Oh, we lost him. He did leave. All right. Teresa, you're going to text him or whatever. Where are we here? How much more did he have to go?
Just getting into the
mass media buzz. About halfway.
Gentlemen, if you go through this, is there anything, if we can't get him back, maybe he's having technical issues?
We're going,
That-
I'm going right through it right quick.
A lot of this we've seen before, and it makes sense, where our visitors go, foot traffic, all that.
We laid over on, one, I don't even know what page I'm on, but where the arrivals and the events, we laid over the events that happened during the month of May, and you'll see the spikes as well, so. On the travel intelligence, you'll see that the pictures are still, Isla Blanca Park.
I just reached out to him to see if he's having difficulties.
Thank you,
getting
it's all
on.
good. We have the presentation in front of us as well, and in the interest of time, I'm hoping the board can just ask him maybe some questions if there's something here that they want to know. My question about the tax collections is, how does he get this data? How does PDL or anybody get this data before we have this data?
Hey, hello? Sorry, I disconnected. This is Atik.
No problem, Atik.
Yeah. I apologize. My internet went out. So I'm trying to reconnect.
Yeah, you're
I don't know
okay,
if it's possible
Atik.
to get the presentation back on the screen. Well, I could maybe present over the phone. I do apologize for the technical
Atik, we have the
difficulties.
presentation in front of us, and maybe we'll just ask you some questions that'll make your life a lot easier, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Perfect.
No worries.
Perfect.
Just
Yeah,
stand by.
Yeah. I think that would be great. Again, I really apologize for the technical difficulties.
It happens. We lose internet and power here every week. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And I did want to add, so with the airlines data, we do have a slide on that later, and we did see something consistent with the more Midwest people flying in to South Padre Island. So
That's great.
I did want to
Thank you.
highlight that before I got disconnected. But so if you guys want, we can go slide by slide, or we can just make it a question and answer session.
Yes, we'll just do some questions and answers. Lori, could you tell me again, or does he have the answer to that question?
So Atik, we're on the tax collection data that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
of course, remember, we have the hot tax, the sales tax, and property tax. And Sean wants to know, how do you get the data before we do? But it's because we provide the three sources to him, or to PDL.
Okay,
Yeah, that is correct. So we get that straight from Lori and Teresa. We get them in separate documents. And what we do is we just combine it and do a comparison.
How? When did you give him this data? I mean, how do we know these are collections?
These are collections. So these come in, and so we meet with PDL probably twice or three times a month. So the May ones, of course, you're not going to get the final one until
This isn't the final number then?
No. It's
Okay, this is the most recent numbers that he has been provided.
Correct.
Okay.
So we'll have the final next week.
That's what I needed to know.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, we're still going to collect.
Yeah. I should have clarified. So this is by date collected.
Right.
So this was collected on May 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have, Atik, there's things that interest me now quite a bit about who are, I mean, I realize this is perhaps a little bit more that we need to deal with, but who's our client these days? I mean, we can see where they're coming from, but what is it changing? how's it changing with the HHI, household income, based on inflationary pressures and everything else? And I mean, I find us in such an almost unpredictable spot right now, depending on who's going to come and who's not going to come. But I still think as much data as you can possibly find or collect to kind of help us to understand how that's going to shift. It's changing so rapidly out in the economy. Economy's changing so rapidly. What are we going to be looking at? Because I think that's important for us to know so that we can shift the way that we need to shift each, business-wise and otherwise, to accommodate or look towards those people that may or may not be coming because of economic issues or whatever other political issues that are out there right now that that are creating havoc for us all. So
And I agree 110%. And I think so. One project actually we're already working with Lori and Teresa on is we're working on creating basically target personas. So what that would entail is really getting the information regarding device IDs about who is coming to the island, figuring out what zip code these people live on, or what zip code where they reside, basically zip code wise. Then we overlay ACS data, American Community Survey data, on top of that to get exactly what you're talking about, which is the personas of individuals coming to the island. And personas, that entails things like household income, demographics, even things like interests, behaviors, and employment. So that is a project that we are actively working on with Lori and Teresa. And then additionally, I would also, let you guys know that, as a company, PDL is working on what we are kind of calling our inflation research project, where we're coming up with potential inflation-proof personas. So who really we're keeping it industry agnostic, but we can cater to certain industries. But we're looking at people who we know will, not be affected as heavily with inflation, and then figuring out what marketing messages need to go to those people. And I do think that, knowing your target audience is very important, especially with how much, not only the economy, but like in general, how many shifts there has been since pre-COVID and then now in 2022.
And then
so to your point, I think that's a very important aspect of this, and it's something that we are working on, and we do have the capabilities to do.
And then also to respond to Tom's question, the household income is a 75,000 plus combined that we have been focusing on the paid media.
Yeah, and the question is that going to have to change?
It's going to be several personas, because
Yes.
remember, we're also catering to people that just want to come out here for the day and buy a T-shirt. We want them here too. So,
And
so
I
we
have, and we have pending, and I have it pending, that's project number 1 for Blake on Monday. The customer segmentation report is what we need, and that's what we're waiting with PDL.
Well, and it puts Zimmerman, we just kind of put Zimmerman on notice too, that the messaging may change as a result.
Absolutely.
As we get more of that information. And so, we used to talk about how fast we could adapt in marketing based on, prints and, printing material and other.
Right.
Then we get to digital and we talk about how we can change more quickly. Well, this is really fast changing in terms of messaging and what we do here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree on all fronts. And again, I think with how fast things are changing, it's important to understand, honestly, even on a month-to-month basis, who it is that's coming to your island. That's going to be part of the project that we're working on, where we not only get those targeted personas, but then we track those personas to see if, hey, these are the same people that are coming on a month-to-month basis. Because, as we know, that customer segmentation can change. And it probably will change, considering, kind of the tumultuous economic times that we're heading into.
Thank you, Atik.
Thank you. Is there any more
Absolutely.
questions for Atik? Are there any more questions for Zimmerman?
The last part is just to look at the next steps. I think that would be,
Right.
you know,
But
the
they
closing.
have it in front of them here.
Yeah.
All right.
And I do think I can. So my internet just came back on. So I'm going to.
Oh, there he goes.
Okay.
No, we're good, Atik.
We're good. Thank you
good.
very
Thank
much,
you.
Zimmerman and PDL, for all of your hard work. We'll move on to item 5.2, update on the switch up motion picture.
Yes.
Do we need to move it?
Yes, this is Teresa Rodriguez. As you know, we've been working with the Switch Up production movies since January. We had our first press conference in January 13. And to give us an update in this great production, we have one of the producers, Marcela Ronquillo, here, and she's going to give us an update.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for coming in.
Okay.
Which one do you want?
I would like to put the calendar first. Or no, the trailer, so they can see a little bit of the movie. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Are you gonna put it? Okay. I'm going to show you, this is not an actual trailer, but it's a clip about the plot of the movie, so you can get an idea, because probably you saw them around South Padre Island, in different places. But it's nice to see what this movie is about, and it's sort of it's not the real trailers. There's a lot of comedy in the trailers. This is more focused on the plot of the movie. But I have very good news on this. Here.
Yeah, if you could please wait a moment until IT can switch over the screen, because we can't see what you can see.
Okay.
And,
No sound?
okay.
Oh, rewind and put sound.
IT, maybe if you could come out and assist with the audio.
Okay. Oh, okay. The sound makes a difference.
Job security right there.
He's trying to teach us a lesson. I'm invaluable.
Job security.
There.
Do I need to go get somebody, or you want me to go to the podium and help? Because I'm an IT guy. I can get the audio to work. Okay.
And now everybody put your hands up for your host, Ricardo.
Hey, so very good show so far. Please, listen, do not ad-lib. You remember what happened last month with Sharknado?
I was supposed to know it was fake.
Marcos! Hey, you know, we've been working together for 3 years. It's Marcus, not Marcos. That guy should be replaced. I actually deserve my own show. There's gotta be a way to serve Ricardo the most humiliating comeuppance in the world.
I can't believe you're making me go to Brownsville, Texas tomorrow morning.
I can't hide away in Miami. No, I need to spread a little Ricardo across the country.
Are you kidding me? Of course, he's a star.
It'd be a good photo op if you, actually serve the food.
Is he always like this?
Oh, well, he'll sing and dance for a little 3-year-old with the camera made of Legos.
Oh.
Hey, speaking of being famous, bud, you're on TV. The news. FBI, nobody move.
You have to help me. They're kicking me out of my own show.
I suggest you speak to your counsel.
Ricardo, I heard about your troubles. Ponzi scheme. What are you doing here? I know how it feels. You just lost your girl. You're poor now. So let me see. How much do you need?
You know, I hear your former boss is living in a box downtown.
Can I go in?
Of course you can. You're homeless.
If I were you, I'd kill the stuff I could. Because the House of Hope might not be around much longer.
Then we go after these bastards and we find out who did this. And then we cut their nuts off. You guys have abducted me, you've kidnapped me, you've hit me on the head. There's a whole lot going on here.
The first part of that, you said I was kidnapping you, and I don't want to think of it as kidnapping. I was thinking of it more as like a surprise date.
I had everything, and now I don't have any of that. I'm back to where I started, and it's okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
No, thank you all, and thank you for being such wonderful guest host for everybody down here. There's a lot of things that I loved about the filming in South Padre Island, and all the actors left wanting to come back with more time, and they worked 16-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, but the ones that there were some that remotely were living in for 2-3 weeks or 4 even, because we had to extend the movie because of COVID. We had to stop a lot. That cost us a little bit of a extra delay on the 24 days we had to shoot the movie. but they really love South Padre Island. So the interesting part about this is that while they're working, we had the press conference, they had different interviews, they did magazines, they did shopping magazine, which was incredible because shopping not only is the whole valley, but it extends to Monterey and part of the Latin market. In the printed and also social media that they do, they did interviews that maybe we can't qualify, but were they had a great impact in social media in the Latin market. Now, as you see this movie, it has the Latin and the U.S. part that's really strong. Our actors are million, follower. They're worth million people following them, and they have a huge impact on both markets. And the Latin market is also very well accepted in Asia and other markets. So when we see the numbers, the impacts that we had on media coverage in CCON, for example, you're talking about on online news close to 585 million impacts. Why? Because we had a lot of coverage also in LA. When a movie like this comes out, it's not the strongest part in marketing and communications, but it's a very important part because it's like sending the news in LA and all over the film industry that a movie is being done. The beautiful thing about this is that everybody's talking about where is it being done. Right now, music, film and music videos are being filmed in places where you can get the budget down, especially because of the economic recession in film also that they're going through, and the impact that COVID did affect the film production and film industry. So you have places where they go for incentives that are more attractive, the tax incentives, and that are really, really worth filming, like in Buffalo or Oklahoma. And in Texas, you do have, but not that, it's not very friendly. So you have, as film destination, you have Austin. What we're trying to actually build is, Austin doesn't have a beautiful beach like we have. So we're trying to build a film destination. And I think we accomplished that goal because our actors are talking about this. Jeff Hay, that spent some time here and really enjoyed it, is a very famous producer also. Elizabeth Avellan, one of our most important producers and lead producer, is filming Spy Kids right now in Austin, and she's saying, my God, she even considered also, she's considering 2 other projects that she has for next year to film right now, and she's telling me, Marcela, please thank everybody, because she was here when we came to ask for the promotion, the sponsorship, and she wants me to tell you to thank you, and that she's thinking about bringing some other movies by next year. And she's a producer that's from Texas, that's lives in Texas, and is very interesting. So trying to build this film destination, you can have, we've worked with Tere incredibly, and we saw the connections. We brought in a lot of Latin interviews via Zoom or via telephone that went on air to all Latin America. As you see, our leading actor is from Chile, so he has a very, very strong audience. And that's the reason Netflix and HBO and Prime are trying to get him to produce down here, because of his incredible impact for the markets. Right now, if we can go to our next film, to the chart that I want to show you, it's a little bit to educate you, because what we did wasn't an impact actually in marketing. The real impact in marketing is when we have the movie done. And this is very important to know because you might be thinking, okay, they came, they filmed, we got some interviews, the press was really, really good. We got coverage. I can tell you we got coverage 80% in the United States, but we had Argentina, Spain, Canada. LA was huge also in impact. Even South Africa, Ireland, you know. But in Latin America, it made a huge impact because Christian and Juliet's from Colombia. They were like almost every day giving interviews on national news and international Latin news. So that was incredible. And the first thing they would say is, we love filming down here. It's such a friendly place. And the meaning of the story is actually showing how big this area is in the value it has. So talking about Brownsville, San Benito, and which were the places we filmed, but especially South Padre Island, is going to bring a huge impact. And I want to show you so you can sort of know where we're at right now. Right now, the movie, well, it films. We actually still need 1 or 2 scenes that are like sort of pickups that we still need to shoot in LA. More special effects scenes that we need to do down there. But the film is actually already shot here in South Padre Island and Brownsville. And the acting is great. And the first stage is that they have to, every scene, even though they film it maybe 4 or 5 times or even more, they have to analyze everything and the different cameras they use. So we are already finishing that part, which is cutting, what they call the cutting of the movie. And right now we're starting post-production, which is like the last part of the, let's say, the cake, where you start putting the icing, but it's the beautiful part about the movie. And it's around 137 days, which we're trying to finish by October, which is a very good time to start selling and bidding the movie. So right now we're trying to get our director's cut, which is what we show. The agencies show HBO, Amazon Prime, Netflix that already has asked us for this movie, and Amazon Prime because Christian is very strong there. And then we have HBO that's really gone up in the numbers. And when we're trying to sell, the agents take the director's cut, which you can see here that we're trying to get it by the end of July or the first week of August. Well, we're at the same time doing the scoring of the movie. We're doing ADR sessions that you could tell in this in this trailer. You could tell that the sound of the beach has a lot of noise, extra noise. So what they do is like sonorize every little detail of the sound so it's perfected. And then the last part that's really, you have to have somebody really good is the coloring of the movie. So when you saw that South Padre Island was a little bit, hazy, or whatever, you might end up seeing it in the movie with the colors like you see them right now. So that's we try to pull up the numbers, the colors, so it looks really good. And all the movie is with very high quality. So we're exactly where we should be in the timing of the production of the movie. We did, in our budget, we are low $150,000. That were the 8 days or 9 days that we had extra filming this movie. We're good on that because we have potential investors trying to come in. And we also have, we're working on marketing and brand placing for the movie. So your brand placing for this movie is huge because as an investment, as the movie grows and for your 45K that you put in, probably it's worth, well, right now, just with the impacts in marketing, it's worth 1.1 in what you invested. But the real marketing comes when you have the movie, it's up there, it's showing, and you have people seeing the movie. And before that, you have to do like a tour to promote it. And while you're promoting this movie, you're promoting the Valley, you're promoting South Padre Island. I think it's going to be huge impact. And I'm curious to know how we can also record them on the statistics we just saw, because I'm sure it will bring audiences from all over. And that's what we're trying to do with this movie. Also, not only sell it in the United States for all the market, and which we're seeing that right now for streaming markets, this type of movies with for the Latin market is really huge. But also sell it in Asia, in Europe, and in Latin America, in Mexico. It's really huge. And especially when you have movies produced on this side. Unfortunately, in the budget-wise, we did come, it did cause an impact, because every day we're filming, it's from $20,000 to maybe $40,000. That's what it costs. The last scene is incredible, which was filmed at the Cross in a beautiful stage that they have there. It's incredible. And that was huge. And I think I can't wait to get it finished and start premiering. And hopefully we'll have a premiere here in South Padre Island and make a real good impact and noise and buzz to make it happen. So I just want to thank you, and I'll keep on reporting as we go along the movie probably. And we're really praying that for October, it's already finished, and we have good news also on showing this movie. So I want you to feel proud that everybody that came was really excited and was glad to see this jewel that we have in South Padre Island. And I'm sure I was telling Tere that we also have another market, which is music videos. And we have one or two, but especially there's one that I want to come and a music video that I want to bring with John Legend and Ricky Martin, that if we hopefully we'll get them to come in and produce their music video. They want to use one of the famous ranches, the Ituria Ranch and South Padre. So I hope I can give you good news on the music videos soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to item 5.3. Do we want to move this? We have some people that have been waiting here.
Yes, I was going to say if we can ask and move it.
Let's bump 5.3 down. Let's go to item 5.4, discussion and possible action to approve the funding request for the following special events. These three events went to the Special Events Committee yesterday. The first two here were approved, although there was some negotiations that took place. April, can you give us a quick update on the A-Team / Dynamic Texas Entertainment LLC in July and September? Their original request was $30,000 for marketing both events. Was that correct?
Correct. They had requested initially $30,000 for over 3 events, 2 on the 4th of July weekend, July 1st and 2nd, and then 1 on September 4th. The SEC approved them for the September 4th event only at $7,000 in marketing only.
What is this again? What is this again?
It's a concert. So the July 1st would be a comedy show. The 2nd was a concert, a country concert, and then the September 4th was a country concert. So it'd be marketing dollars.
Are we going to get our name tied into what has been happening with the amphitheater situation? With the events that get promoted and get canceled, since they have a bad rap, I don't want our name tied into something like that.
So they did ask that question. We asked as well. It's a different event promoter who is hosting these events. It wasn't for the ones that have been canceled.
And we have
Nestor Garza here to answer
and
questions.
the county manager here as well to address that.
Okay, that's just my concern.
So ultimately, they approved $7,000 in special events marketing for the Labor Day, is it Labor Day weekend?
It's the Labor Day weekend. This event will be on a Sunday.
And 4th of July weekend, they weren't comfortable with that, nor was I personally, just because of the short notice on this. It's 9 days away.
Yeah, but was it all for marketing money though? It was just to get the word out there to try to get more people out?
Yes.
Marketing. All marketing on a reimbursable basis.
On a what?
Reimbursable basis. We're going to reimburse them after the event.
We'll reimburse them. Okay, I was like, I thought that it was the other one.
So it's possible action on this. Historically, we've been, more often than not, it's rare that we change anything at special events sends to us. They work obviously with April and the rest of the staff to kind of go through the motions on these things, and it saves us a lot of time.
No, I get it. My curiosity is, one, how are ticket sales, right, on something that's pretty much next weekend, right? Like it's 14 days out, right? So how are ticket sales going right now, and how would the money affect that? Like, would it make it a more successful event, or especially since it's so short term?
So unless you guys would want to approve something for the 4th of July weekend, I think they're only addressing Labor Day weekend right now. So they only approved $7,000 only for the Labor Day weekend event, not the 4th of July. So
we're just you brought this to us to approve $7,000 for Labor Day.
correct.
Nothing else.
Yes. I mean, unless you guys decide to change the what the SEC had approved, that's where we're at.
I'm opening it up for discussion simply because the request was so much higher than what was granted. I wanted this board to be aware of that.
I have no issues with it. My only issue is with the history of what has happened and the bad rap that all the local people that have attended, and I just don't want to be part of that. I don't want our names to be part of that.
I completely get that. I think it's kind of one of those things where you look at it, and unfortunately, the amphitheater gets involved in. They're just a venue, right? So
no, I understand that completely.
I mean, it's a different promoter that's canceled different events, and I've actually felt the impact of it at our hotel because they were supposed to actually have their people stay with us, and it was like, come on, you guys are killing us, right?
Yeah.
I've known Nestor for a while, or know of Nestor for a while, and I know some of the events that he's done around the valley that have been very successful. So that's why my curiosity is, we can't get stuck with that.
Good morning. My name's Raul Garcia. I'm the director for the Cameron County Amputee and Event Center. It's the first time that I ever come here, and it's good to meet everybody here. But I wanted to address the comment to Mr. Daniel Salazar. He just said a little while ago when they say we don't want to be part of it. When I first came on board here, my whole goal was to be a part and a team together here with South Padre Island. It's a little bit disappointing to hear Mr. Salazar say, I don't want to be part of that, because we're supposed to be a whole team here now.
Right.
Going back to Mr. Valdez here, explaining the whole situation, he's correct. It's totally beyond our control. I've been doing this for 34 years, and it's totally beyond our control when there's been different promoters that come into my facility. You try to give everybody an opportunity based on what they come on. I'm a promoter, this and that. I've seen wannabe promoters fly by throughout the years, and sometimes you're able to pinpoint them, sometimes you can't. So you give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and it's unfortunate. We had the Clint Black situation because of high winds, because of the coast. We all know that it's a little bit more difficult to have counselors down here than it is anywhere else. But we did release a statement from Clint Black did release a statement, about the situation, a press release. We did ourselves also, and it's a black guy on the amphitheater itself. Mm-hmm. Believe me, it's something that we don't want. We just had an incident with the Dallas Cowboys. I personally didn't want it because I had a bad feeling about it. But again, we're there to rent the facility. We're not there to pick and choose and say, well, you're not the promoter and you can't do this. We can't do that. That's in every venue across the board. And it's unfortunate that Mr. Salazar feels like that, but I hope that everybody else in the panel doesn't feel like that. And we are striving to make this. My whole goal is, when I came on board, is to South Padre Island is a destination area. Any other city in the state of Texas here, or I mean in the valley, I'm sorry, is not. And my goal is to bring as many shows as I can to the amphitheater to put heads in the beds because it helps out everybody, correct? So that's our goal. Lori, April have been wonderful as far as working together with me, and we're trying to build this friendship with the CVB, with the SPI, with everybody, so we can pretty much, because I've been listening and I've been watching the presentation, I've been watching the numbers and all that, and at the end of the day, we all want our numbers to go up, everybody, and I think that if we work closely together without insulting anybody or anything like that, we can really go super far. We have some plans for Christmas coming up, the holidays. I've spoken with Lori in April, and we're supposed to meet up on trying to make this the biggest destination area for the month of December and November, because it's off peak, it's not busy. Dynamis has been grateful there at the beach resort, the Holiday Inn resort, I'm sorry. Also pretty much helping us out. Anytime that I have any acts coming up, I try to send as much business as I can to all the hotels. And as he mentioned, Nestor Garza, who is part of the A-team, they're legit. They've done pretty much 90% of the shows that I've had there at the venue. I've had other promoters come in and done a couple of shows, but this gentleman that's about to come up to the podium has done, him and his partners have done pretty much about 95% of the shows. So I know that they haven't canceled a show on me just yet. The one that was canceled was beyond my control because of the weather. And then we had some other ones that were they weren't promoters, they were trying to get something, they want to take advantage of what was going on here. But again, please don't hesitate. If anybody has any questions that I can help out with, and don't hesitate my office is at the amphitheater. I don't know if anybody has had a chance to go out there and visit and check out the place. I welcome everyone to come out there and check it out, and hopefully make it out to one of these shows. So
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Nestor, were you comfortable with the decision for the Special Events Committee to grant $7,000 for marketing for that event?
Yes, of course. And like I said, to just piggyback off Raul, just so you know, we do a lot of shows across Texas, not just in South Padre Island, but I love the island. I was the first one that did the shows at Clayton's, and I went off on my own, and I got another venue, and I like it there. So I work closely with the pro as well, with Ryan. They're my hotel sponsor. We do package deals. I would like to get more hotels involved. And it is a Sunday. I could have taken the show to McAllen Convention Center in a heartbeat. But I said, you know what, I'll take the risk on a Sunday at the island, because we all know Labor Day has been a slow weekend,
Yeah, it makes sense for us to market events in that time period. We're not sold out. 4th of July weekend, I just wanted you to know, because I didn't have the opportunity the way the committee did to address you on this request. That's very difficult for us to get our heads around, knowing that we will be sold out that weekend. If we're not, somebody did something wrong. But
and to interrupt, I was hearing the presentation from there, and just so you know, we did Randy Rogers this past Memorial Day weekend. He's a C-tier act, but last year I think we did Kowitzo. And we had 3,500 people, and I think that also had an impact on why the rooms were also we sold more, because more people did come from Oklahoma, Missouri, and I have all the analytics where I showed all the top clicks on my website. That were people that were buying tickets who were not even from the Valley or not even Central Texas. They were all from Fort Worth, the Houston, the Austin area. So, like I said, we do our own ticketing. I have all the analytics to back it up. I do splash pages. I'm sorry, so that way we can go ahead and show and prove that we love the Valley, and we're bringing people from here, but we want the people to come in from out of town. And
right.
I would say last year, we also did the Midland concert 4th of July weekend. We did Felipe Esparza June 12th. We did the Intocable one on Sunday. We did Carillon, I think, in mid-August, which was a success too, which, shows had never really been done other than peak times. And we're seeing that doing shows on off-peak times like 4th of July, Memorial Weekend are also working. So I think it's actually a better time to do it now that I'm seeing it, because hotel rooms are a little bit cheaper than Memorial Weekend and 4th of July weekend. So I think that's where we're going to benefit with Lee Bryce, because he is a big country name that's never been to South Texas, period. This will be the first time.
Right, and it doesn't help you when our rates are high.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
What's the, I guess I'm gonna ask, I know Pearl's not here, but Renee, block percentage and pickup, if I may.
For the concerts?
You know, heads
Well,
and
it's
beds,
different.
right quick. So if it's an event, South Padre, that's great. Any kind of event. that's
Yeah,
using
so a
money.
lot of them we do, and I know we've done 2 with Nestor, and then I've done a couple other ones like that Vanilla Ice one that was here. I'm trying to remember the name of her production company. I know her name's Ceci, but we've done courtesy blocks mostly, right? So we haven't done group blocks, but when we look at it, it's, I mean, 15, 20 rooms at the least for concerts. I think we're lucky on our side because if the concerts are at the amphitheater, we're the south end of the hotel, right? So we're
Of
right
course,
there.
lately,
so.
as you know, and they know as well, it's hard when they want to do an event on a weekend, which is prime time to sell tickets, yet it's prime time for us to get our high ADR.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one of the things that we have to consider even for the next couple years coming up is the 4th of July is going to start falling on the weekday, right? For the next few years coming up. So it's not going to be out of the ordinary for us to start promoting for 4th of July to try to get people to come during those times because it's difficult. Like I think even this 4th of July is going to be difficult because it's on a Monday. Everybody's going to be traveling. A lot of people are going to be traveling back on Monday because they have to work on Tuesday.
I think the weekend after is the hard part.
Yeah.
Not the weekend front right now, or at least for what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of the 5th to the 1st, 1st to the 5th, and then the back end, it's having to do work a little bit on the rates. But in either case, just a couple things. I appreciate you coming up, and I have a couple concerns. Number one is I like the idea on the Sunday. I think it's a great idea. And I do know that Labor Day, we've talked about it before, that we always need a little pop to do something. And I think, as you mentioned, Lee Bryce, I don't think I've heard him come down to South Texas. So I think it's a great name, country, nice, clean, good, you know. One concern I do have, and I'm just throwing that out there, aside from what Daniel said, is just that black eye does make a difference. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the past ones that have, you know, you see it on Facebook, you see the negative impact. Trying to gain that trust again is very difficult, is what I've seen. And so that is one concern, but the time period is great. I think the price, I think is, I mean, we've given out more on something less.
That's correct.
And so I don't have a problem with it. The big concern I do have is we've tried in the last couple of years to get away from concerts as far as us sponsoring. And I'm concerned that we open the door to other places that are on business within the island, that are within the island area that may want money and come and ask for concerts if we open that.
That's where it's
But
hard
we're
work
not,
for us.
remember, we're not sponsoring a concert, we're sponsoring the marketing efforts.
Well, but
And
that
we're
doesn't mean-
sponsoring the marketing for the destination, not necessarily for
I agree. I'm just saying that then what's to stop an island business to come and ask?
there is no stop.
There is no stopping them. They're welcome to bring whatever proposal
No, I
they
get
want.
it. I'm not saying, but
He's just saying that next time Renee or myself want to have a concert event at our resort, we're going to come up and we're going to sit there and ask for some help because we want to promote the town of South Padre to host an event at one of
You
our-
should. And honestly, I think that the city would rather do business with people that have skin in the game here than
Correct.
outside promoters.
He was just
And I welcome it. I say bring it, you know, it's like the same thing
Yeah.
with it's the same scenario with the fireworks. It's the same thing, you know, so.
Everything being said, unless somebody else has any other question, I think it's a good risk. I think the risk is worth it on the Sunday event.
I make a motion for the 7th.
Can I make a motion because I'm hungry?
All right, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, Nestor. Best of
guys.
luck to you. And whatever else you have lined up, please come to us, and I know this is a tough business you're in, sooner.
Right.
So we can get all of these things addressed far in advance. You have a sense of financial security. The venue has a sense of security that we are working together as a team to make this happen. And ideally, we'll fill up the amphitheater with professional promoters like yourselves that are not going to cancel.
Hey, Sean, can I add one other thing? Just so to clarify also, to add on to his, it's like, for example, the July 1st one, most of us are pretty much already probably at 80% occupancy. So spending the money at this point, it makes it very difficult. It doesn't make a lot of sense for us to do it. But if it's further on out,
then we can advertise it, the individual companies can advertise it, and while you may not like it, we like it as far as our ADR hopefully will rise up because there'll be more demand on it.
Right, and becomes part of our marketing plan when we're marketing our upcoming events. We need to get all of that stuff to our agency in advance. They're not as, it's all out there.
Yeah, and we've
That
had
helps
that
everybody.
conversation. We've had a conversation with Nestor and also with Raul to work more in advance and to help with the marketing efforts. And then also we're going to help Raul with maybe vetting the promoters out a little bit more so that we don't have that negative.
Great.
Yeah, I've seen Felipe Esparza too in concert in McAllen, and that place was packed. So I'm hoping.
I attended the last one. It was fantastic. We had a great time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to SPI Pride in October 2022. I think everyone here in this board is well aware of this event. Mr. Carlson's here to answer any questions we may have. He requested $15,000 for the marketing of SPI Pride. The Special Events Committee granted $5,000 instead of the $15,000. And this too is something I wanted to bring to your attention. And he's here to answer any questions. He can present. All of the information in there is in our packet on the event. And I just need a motion from somebody or someone to direct our questions to
What
Jay.
are the date? Okay, there we go. Never mind. October.
Weekend.
October 6th through 9th.
Got it, okay.
What have we spent in the past?
$5,000 in marketing.
5,000.
Make a motion to approve the 5,000.
Is there any more discussion? Yes, sir. Please.
Jay Carlson, I'm the broker for South Padre Coastal Real Estate. I do have skin in the game here on South Padre Island. Been here for 29 years. Today I'm representing SPI Pride. I just want to discuss how in the past, in April, we do a similar type event. And in April, it's pretty easy to get people here in April. And you've granted $15,000 for advertising in April. I'm asking for October. Is it easy to get people here? No, it's a major struggle to get people here. How many events are scheduled for October? I'm not sure, but not many. I'm here to help the community by getting people here in October. And I'm asking for the
I'm with you there. Your statement about events in October, most of our special events are in October for that very reason, because it is so slow. The idea is to increase demand. I'm a proponent of both Splash and SPI Pride. I like the demographic. I like the time of year. Length of stay is strong. I don't think we have any issues with any of that. Now, April, may I ask you how much money, after what was approved yesterday, how much money do you have left in the budget?
About, what did we see, 30,000?
After it's a little higher.
Well,
There was a Spartan
there's a
cancellation.
Spartan. Remember, I was going to say the Spartan
Oh, okay.
cancellation, minus
Yeah.
that.
$100,000.
So about 35, not including the Spartan cancellation.
So
So 135 if you're going to include Spartan.
how many more events do you have within this fiscal year that are coming to you, do you think, requesting funding?
I know I probably have about 4 coming next month in July.
The little ones or big ones?
They vary. I know we have a cook-off coming that's probably asking about 30, 35. It really just depends. I don't have the physical application. I just have inquiries that they would like to come in July.
Don't we go off of dollar amounts based on history as far as, this is, if I stand corrected here, the past when we've done decisions on dollars.
Not to increase.
They bring us the information as far as how they produced hotel-wise, heads and beds.
Right, the post-event report.
So therefore, I'm just going based off of what, that's why.
This is an anomaly because of COVID screwing up everything in the past. It wasn't happening.
Therefore, you know what, after this, it shows us that, you know what, guess what, it was a success, and then next year we can relook at it and go from there.
Grant's been going on for 20 years. We've had great success with it. And the last one we had in 2019, there was no success because the island didn't have any power on Thursday night from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And we had a big storms coming in on Friday, Saturday. Fortunately, Sunday morning, it was raining, but Sunday afternoon for the parade, the sun came out. And I think you need to look at the future, that with the prices of gas going up, the airline problems, and the possibility of a recession, that a good investment in October might help the island.
Do we have feedback as to why they dropped it from the initial request, the special events committee?
Well, they gave 5 the last time. Normally, it's not, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, normally it's seed money, and seed money decreases after time. It doesn't increase typically.
Well,
I mean.
that's true.
In theory, that.
We've seen otherwise. We've seen otherwise.
Well, it depends on what the numbers show up. I mean, if it's worth the investment, then we do it. I mean, to me.
That's just been the past.
If I may, so the initial request was for 15,000. It included marketing and operational, but the SEC felt comfortable only approving 5,000 for marketing dollars.
And how much marketing did they ask for?
That is not what I see here. I see $9,000 in social media, $1,000 other. I see $2,000 website, print $3,000. So I know that there was a conversation about transportation, which
And travel.
Jay, can you clarify when we talked about the travel expenses? You mentioned a van, a shuttle that you were going to do as part of a brunch, which is in-person marketing. Is that what you were referring to?
No, there was 2 different travels, but I can adjust that. I mean, I'd rather have it for advertising and promotion than to lose it altogether. My initial thinking was that the state allows hotel tax to be used for transportation, and taking it from our host hotel, the Holiday Inn South, on an evening event, Saturday night.
Oh, you mean here?
Yes. That's one,
Okay.
one transportation issue. And that's just to keep sober drivers, or
Right.
drunk drivers off the road doing a shuttle from the host hotel to.
Okay.
Can I just resend my motion, if I may, and make that approve of $10,000 for that?
I'll second that.
All right.
Correct. Well, it's your motion.
That's correct.
Yeah. Is there any more discussion? Okay. Jay, does that appease you for now so we can see how it goes this year and we come back next year? If you show great success, I would like to think that this board would further invest in Pride.
No, I really appreciate it. That's going to be a big help.
Okay.
And I think it's important to invest in October.
Well, and we all agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think any, I mean, most of our events, if you notice, like the one in July wasn't approved, but we approved the one in September. I mean.
Yeah. He was at the meeting yesterday as well, so he. Yeah.
But I think it would be very helpful to have numbers. That way it justifies.
We do have numbers every time, all the time.
I just.
He's one of the few promoters that I'm not very concerned about. We know where to find him. All right? Great. Thank you so much, sir. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, April. And then at the very end, we had another event that requested $49,000 for a Tejano festival on September 24th. And this was tabled by the Special Events Committee until our new director can get here. He can take a look at it.
Let me guess.
Let
me guess the location.
And assess the situation on this, maybe get some feedback with the committee, because this is one of the larger asks, and we've talked pre-COVID, there was lots of conversations about investing in festivals and how that would work and what the most, the best option is for all of us. So with that, we don't need any action on that unless you gentlemen disagree. Okay. Thank you, April.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to 5.3, presentation and discussion regarding the CVB monthly report.
I'm sorry, right quick. What are we doing with the one we just talked about?
It was tabled by the Special Events Committee, and I'm informing you of that until the director can take a look at these. It's a large request. And it would be, I think, a multi-year, deal. And I don't want anyone here in this room to be held accountable for something like that, but a week before he gets here. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Biggest senior marketing and communication manager for the CVB. And the monthly report this time, we're just going to concentrate in the marketing aspect. We already heard the special events. Let me see if I can get this one to go. Oh, gosh. On organic social media, we already talked about it with the report with the C team. As you can see, the engagement that we have on our Facebook has been growing. One of the biggest engagement was on the Kitty Hawk, over 11,000. Of course, our fireworks, over 5,000, and always showing our beautiful beach, it gets a lot of engagement. This is the way we have been doing the Facebook performance. As you can see, the total partial paid, it was over 71,000, organic 48,000. For the Instagram audience, we've been growing our audience. We didn't have any drops in the last 5 days, which is good. And Instagram post, again, as you can see, the Kitty Hawk, the amphitheater, and all the things that are to do and see in South Padre Island. Our season report, for the month of May, if we would have been spending the money in this, it was over 1,000 total mentions, 4.5 billion people reach, and the total ad value, it would have been 8.5 million. As you can see, is the combined with the online and traditional media, along with the blogs. The top stories for the month, we have a huge story with the birding center about a stranded alligator. I don't know if you had a chance to see it on the news. And the second one was, of course, the USS Kitty Hawk. It was impressive. And a lot of people from different parts of the United States and different parts of the world, we were there at the amphitheater. It was a wonderful event. And the top locations, as always, United States with 926 stories, Italy, India, United Kingdom, Canada, Ukraine, and France. And as I always tell you and remind you, even though we have a high number of stories in Mexico, it's very hard to get those reports because they don't comply with or they don't subscribe to the decision. This month, Galveston was ahead of us on the share voice because due to the stories. But South Padre Island, again, we are one of the leaders on the stories. For the PR efforts, we have 4 different big interviews, press releases. We had 3 press releases that went out to our media and, of course, our partners. We had 2 SPI presentations, and we have 2 TV live interviews and 1 radio in Mexico. And the total number of publications together with the Z team also were 14 for this month, talking about our island. And the Mexico campaigns, we continue to grow, we continue getting interest. We were again on another cover of one of the magazines in Nuevo León. We have also a full page coverage. And we had different coverage in different magazines down there in Mexico. And of course, our billboards are still up. People are calling, even the vendors are saying, hey, we saw your billboard. Do you want to have more billboards? So we got that buzz from the traditional media in Mexico. And of course, when we were talking and sending a press release on the ICANN vessel, we have a lot of interest and some storage generator in the Mexican market also. The in-house creator, we continue to do different things for the sales team. We already fulfilled the orders of the different flyers, the digital flyers that they needed to have to provide to the groups and meetings. We already completed the orders. We continue to fulfill the groups and meetings requests, different pages, different publications, so you can see all the different samples of the things that we're doing and send it to the groups and meetings. Again, print digital, we're very strong on things to do, events, different things that we offer in the island. And we also want to provide this to our partners so they can have it on the front desk or the hotels or restaurants. Mexico campaigns, as you can see, we continue with the campaign. Of course, the translation in Spanish sometimes changed a little bit, but it's pretty much the same campaign. We try to move it and change it as soon as we can with different images because we have a lot of good images in our inventory. And of course, the Kitty Hawk, I just want to give you a sample of the session. The total mentions were 76 stories around the world. Total reach 1.2 billion people. Online, it was the majority. And of course, the total ad value, if we would have had to spend that money, was $2.2 million with the press releases that we sent, with the Facebook Live, with all the coverage that we did.
Great.
And then also the SPI CTA program, I really appreciate you for sending your team to this program. It has been a great success. We had so far 5 classes. Out of those 5 classes, we already have a total of 71 certified tourism advisors in our city, and our numbers keeps on growing. People from not only South Padre Island, but other places, they want to coverage and learn more about it. Daniel, thank you so much for that support and sending your team. We really appreciate it. Please all send your team. I think this is a great opportunity for all of us, and make some time for yourselves. Please join us. And we want your input, and we want you to tell us how you see this program. We have great comments, and everybody is leaving with something new about our island. So this is my report, and we thank you for it. Do you have any questions?
Excellent as always, Teresa. Thank
It
you.
was great. I had my staff attend, and they came back, and the majority of our staff, at least my staff, they don't live in this area. You know, Los Fresnos, Brownsville, they had been to 80% of the locations on this island. They had no idea that X or the Y even existed on this island. They came back with so much knowledge that it was just like the simplest of things, the couple of hours, just gave them that much more information that they can now provide, since they are the first people our customers come across. So therefore, it's a big thank you to all you all for putting that together, and I highly recommend and suggest everybody does it.
Wonderful.
And of course, our staff, it was, they got a special treat as well for attending it and stuff. But no, they enjoyed it. So the treat wasn't necessary because I wasn't sure how they were going to enjoy it. But nonetheless, no, they all came back and they were super excited, and they were talking about to the others that they need to go and all that stuff. So.
Thank you.
We want them to take that ownership and feel proud of the knowledge that they achieve. And we all on this, we all marking our island. And we want them to wear their pin, feel proud about it, and take ownership. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. Lynette, when do you want to see us again, if ever? Any conflicts for anybody?
I think for me it will be, but July 27th?
I think so.
Right here?
Probably not.
Okay.
Only if you need me for
27th. All good. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.